Today is June 12th, 2025. Nigeria is commemorating Democracy Day as has become the tradition since 2019. The former president uh, Muhammadu Buhari declared June 12th to be Nigeria's Democracy Day in 2018, and it started for the first time in 2019. Before then, Democracy Day in Nigeria was marked on May 29 of every year, starting from the year 2000, as declared by the former president Olusegun Obasanjo, who to mark the return to civilian rule, because he was installed on May 29, 1999 as the president, immediately succeeding the outgoing military rulers. To mark return to civil rule, that was why he declared May 29 as Nigeria's Democracy Day. But the revert or the declaration of June 12th as Nigeria's Democracy Day is to commemorate and to lament the annulment of the June 12th, 1993 presidential election, believed to have been, not only believed, declared to have been won by, later declared to have been won by Moshood Kashimawo Abiola. That means that Nigeria knew that MKO Abiola won the election because the result indicated that he won. Only that the chairman, the then chairman of the Electoral Commission, Professor Humphrey Nwosu, was ordered not to declare the result of the election. Unfortunately, of course, some people are blaming Professor Nwosu for not declaring the election. But how could he do that when the authority that appointed him told him not to declare the election? If he didn't have two heads, as he didn't have two heads and he needed his life to live, how will he go against the authority that appointed him and declare the election? That is the extent to which human beings can be unfair to their neighbor. So rather than crediting Professor Nwosu and his integrity and honor, some Nigerians turn around to be blaming him. But the truth of the matter is that the military authority, the outgoing military authority, and their religio-political cohorts were not comfortable with Moshood Kashimawo Abiola becoming Nigeria's president. One, he was so popular that Nigerians deliberately elected him, or voted for him rather, to change the status quo. But the outgoing military government and their religio-political cohort did not want the status quo to change, and that was the reason the election was annulled, and not because the result was not announced by Professor Nwosu of blessed memory. His honor and integrity are not stained. No, they are intact, and by the grace of Almighty God, there is no doubt that man of honor and grace is in the bosom of his Creator as I speak. His honor and integrity were not less than that of Professor Atairu Jega, who we all respect. Now we have Mahmood Yakubu, who we believe is cooperating with the political powers that be to doctor the electoral system and make it to favor the powers that be. And the situation has been like that since he came to since his appointment, but the solution should not be in who becomes the chairman of the electoral commission as much as the system itself. So the presidency of Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, or the president himself, Umaru Musa Yar'Adua, saw that the election that brought him into power was not free and fair, and he set up an electoral reform committee to look into how Nigeria's election can be free and fair. The committee was headed by now defunct Justice Muhammad Uwais, a respected honorable jurist, former Chief Justice of Nigeria, who looked into how Nigeria can have free and fair election, how the Independent Electoral Commission will be truly independent by the policies and laws guiding it. But after the committee finished its work and made recommendations, the President Umaru Musa Yar'Adua developed cold feet and could not implement the recommendations. Likewise, his successor, Goodluck Ebele Azikiwe Jonathan, refused to implement the recommendations. Instead, he appointed Professor Atairu Jega as the chairman of the Independent Electoral Commission, because he knew that Nigerians trusted him, that he is an upright man. And true to fact, he performed, but the system remained unindependent. So Professor Humphrey Nwosu was an independent person that you cannot sway from the path of justice, and Professor Atairu Jega also. But the individual will come and go, the system will remain, and now the individual that is there does not show that level of independent mindedness of leaders like Professor Humphrey Nwosu and Atairu Jega, and that's where our democracy is still in crisis, because we are celebrating Democracy Day. But how does our democracy look like? A democracy without independent electoral commission. Even though that's the name we give to it, we know it's not independent, because the staff are all chosen by the ruling political party. And then a president will get the microphone for the first time to address Nigerians and say all fuel subsidy is gone, and before you close and open your eyes, other subsidies are gone. So what type of democracy is that? A democracy where the executive has in its pocket both the legislature and the judiciary. What type of but much more importantly, how do we go back to the recommendations of the Electoral Reform Committee headed by Justice Muhammad Uwais? He has died and gone, poor man. I'm just speaking metaphorically, not that he was poor. He was the Chief Justice of Nigeria, and he did justice creditably. That is the issue we are talking about. Now, our electoral system is unjust and easily manipulable, and the presidents become absolute rulers. So what type of democracy are we talking about? Can we go back to the drawing board, so that we will not continue to celebrate June 12th in default every year? Of course, I don't know who is celebrating